to the weekly press briefing. I will begin with a couple of announcements. Honorable President Shri Pranab Mukherjee will be paying a state visit to Papua New Guinea and New Zealand from April 28 to May 2nd, 2016. This will be the first ever visit by a President of India to the two countries. The President will be accompanied by Union Cabinet Minister for Food Processing, Srimati Harsimrat Kaur Badal, and a delegation of members of Parliament. Several agreements are expected to be signed during the visit in the fields of economic cooperation, education, and connectivity. Papua New Guinea is the largest of the Pacific Island countries, both in terms of land area and population, and is blessed with abundant natural resources. Prime Minister Peter O'Neill visited India for the second FIPIC summit in August last year. A number of areas of cooperation between India and Papua New Guinea are in the process of finalization in fields such as health, infrastructure development, capacity building, etc. With New Zealand, India has traditionally had a very close relationship. The Governor General of New Zealand visited India in 2008, 2010, and 2011, and Prime Minister John Key had visited India in 2011. Both sides see prospects for cooperation in agriculture, dairy, food processing, education, and skill development, as well as high technology. The Indian diaspora of about 175,000 helps to further cement our close ties. My second announcement pertains to the official visit of the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Mongolia, Mr. L. Purevasuren. The Minister of Foreign Affairs of Mongolia, Mr. L. Purevasuren, will pay an official visit to India from 27th to 29th April 2016. The visit follows the successful high-level visits of the Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, to Mongolia in May last year, and that of Speaker Lok Sabha, Srimati Sumitra Mahajan, earlier this month. The Minister's program includes a visit to Agra and official engagements in New Delhi. During the visit, the 5th India-Mongolia Joint Committee on Cooperation, the IMJCC, will be held on April 28, 2016, which will be chaired by EM on our side and the Mongolian Minister of Foreign Affairs on the Mongolian side. The talks are expected to cover a broad agenda, including bilateral relations and regional and international issues of mutual interest. That concludes my announcements. The floor is now open for questions. Vinita?
Vikas, we just now saw the conclusion of the special representatives talks in China. Can you just give us an understanding what was the net gain for India in the talks?
National Security Advisor participated in the 19th round of the special representatives talks. Discussions focused on two broad issues. One, efforts to find a fair, reasonable, and mutually acceptable solution to the boundary question. And two, maintenance of peace and tranquility in the border areas. On the first matter, both sides are discussing a framework, and the 19th round carried forward these discussions. On the second issue, both sides agreed that no major incident had taken place in the last several months. They discussed various means to strengthen peace and tranquility in the border areas. In this context, both sides agreed to establish a hotline between the two armed forces, and we will now work out the modalities. Of course, NSA also exchanged views on various regional and international issues of mutual interest. Well, as I said, now it will become operational. The modalities will now be finalized between the two sides. Aditya.
Two brief questions, one related to China. You know, Beijing has raised objections to the visit of activist Dolko Nesa. India has granted, of course, visa to him. He will be attending the WUC conference in Dharamshala next week. How do you react? And isn't it really double standards from China, keeping in view their statement on Masood Azhar and the veto? The second question is pertaining to the death of Kirpal
Well, you have only one question. Look, we have seen media reports on this purported visit of Dolko Nesa to India. At the moment, the Ministry of External Affairs is trying to ascertain the facts. Yeah.
Sir, a week ago, you had given a show cause notice to Mr. Malia saying that you should respond regarding your passport. Has he responded? And secondly, if he has not, will you revoke the passport?
Well, he has responded through his lawyer, but I have further developments to report to you. The Ministry of External Affairs has received a request from the Enforcement Directorate conveying to us that the Court of Sessions Greater Mumbai has issued a non-bailable warrant in the name of Shri Vijay Mallya. On the basis of that non-bailable warrant, they have requested us to consider initiating steps for the deportation of Shri Vijay Mallya to India to ensure his presence before the lawful authorities to proceed with the investigation against him. We are currently consulting legal experts on the next steps in this particular matter. Smita.
Just to clarify, what happens, is it because he has questioned the suspension of the passport in Supreme Court that you're not going ahead with the revocation at the moment, or?
No, basically they have now written to us that there is a non-bailable warrant issued against Sri Mallya, and on the basis of that non-bailable warrant, that MEA should consider initiating steps for the deportation of Sri Mallya. So the two things will happen separately. I mean, there is the issue of the revocation of his passport, and there is also the issue of his deportation. Srinjoy.
Sir, the CBI is preparing a dossier to reopen the case, the Kim Devi case, and a Danish lawyer is also being appointed. I think it's in the final stages. Can you tell us in more detail what the government really wishes to do and when this process will really start?
Well, the government is committed to bringing back Kim Devi to face justice. There is no doubt about that. Currently, we are in the process of having consultations with the various agencies in this regard. Yeah, Ashish.
Sir, could you please update us on the status of the murder case of Chiku Roberts, what EM yesterday tweeted about, and what is the prima facie investigation report?
Well, on 21st April 2016 in Salalah, Oman, a nurse from Kerala, Chiku Robert, was found murdered. Our mission in Muscat has informed us that the Royal Oman Police is currently investigating her death. A Pakistani national, her neighbor, and her husband are under detention and are being investigated. The embassy is in touch with the concerned police authorities. Her mortal remains are in a mortuary under the custody of the Royal Oman Police. The mission in Oman will continue to follow up the case with concerned authorities, including the release and transportation of mortal remains after the investigation is completed, as per the wishes of the family. Yeah, at the back. Zaka, welcome back.
I've always been around. Because the Pakistan Prime Minister's advisor on foreign affairs, Sartaj Aziz, in a recent interview had said that they are not excluding the option of the NIA being given access to Pakistan, provided India makes a formal request. First, do you welcome that statement? And second, by when will India make a formal request for the NIA to visit Pakistan?
Okay, as far as the second part of your question is concerned, the investigations are ongoing, as you know, in both countries. We will consider the next step at an appropriate time. Insofar as the first part of your question is concerned, as you have heard from me on several occasions and also from my Pakistani counterpart, the JIT visit was held in a very constructive and cooperative environment to investigate the Pathankot air base attack. We welcome cooperation to combat terrorism in all its forms. Venkat.
Because this is about the diplomatic passport of an individual, if and when the government, revokes the diplomatic passport, what happens to the gentleman concern's other passport? Does it also automatically get revoked?
You cannot keep two passports at the same time.
Oh, that means if you revoke the diplomatic passport, that's the end of it.
Correct. Ranjit.
Can you confirm if President Obama has invited Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Prime Minister Modi has accepted the invitation or not?
When President Obama and Prime Minister Modi last met in Washington, D.C. during the Nuclear Security Summit, President Obama had expressed a wish for a bilateral summit to review the progress of India-US bilateral ties. At the same time, as you know, there is a well-established procedure for announcing Prime Minister's visits abroad, which is done in coordination with the host country. We will let you know when we have information on that particular aspect.
So, as you know that Malayali couples were killed in the plane crash in Russia last month. Malayali couples were killed in a plane crash in Russia
Plane
in
crash
last
in
month.
Croatia.
Ah.
Okay.
Russia. So the family have not received the remains of couples till now.
Okay.
So do you have any information?
No, I do not have any information on that, but I will find out and get back to you. Akhilesh.
But as far as I know, most of the MPs, before being MP, they have a personal passport. But when they become MP, they get a diplomatic passport. Does automatically personal passport is cancelled? I think most of the officials also keep
the personal passport is either then kept in the custody of the ministry. As I said, you can have only one passport at a particular point in time. So if that existing passport is cancelled or revoked, then you do not have any other passport at that point in time. That's what I'm saying.
I think, are you sure about it?
Yes.
Most of the people.
You cannot keep two passports. If you have to, then please watch out.
India today carried out an investigation that reveals that Mr. Vijay Mallya also has properties which were undeclared in his affidavits in Parliament so far in the US, in New York especially. Has the ED approached him, because the ED has been scrutinizing these properties? Is it something you can take up at any level?
Please understand, the Ministry of External Affairs is not an investigative agency. ED approaches us in respect of actions that the Ministry of External Affairs can take. We can take actions pertaining to the passport of an individual because the Passports Act is administered by us. So they have asked us now to take action for the deportation of Mr. Vijay Mallya, for the revocation of his passport, and those two actions are underway. Anirban.
Yeah, this is about Kirpal Singh. Did you ask Pakistan government to ensure safety of Indian prisoners in its jails?
Yes, through our High Commission in Pakistan, we have asked the government of Pakistan to take all necessary steps for ensuring safety, security, and well-being of all Indians in Pakistani custody. And naturally, this has been reiterated in light of what has happened with Kirpal Singh. Geeta.
Because you said Mallya has responded. Has he responded to, because he has a deadline
He has responded
today?
through his lawyer to
What
us.
is it that he has? Could you share with us as
No,
to
I'm
what
not at
he
liberty
has?
to share with you.
And does he have a residency permit? Will that change things?
Look, those kinds of issues, as I said, MEA is not the investigative agency. Those questions you should address to the Enforcement Directorate. I can only answer questions pertaining to the domain of the Ministry of External Affairs. Yeah.
Yes, how easy or how difficult it is to get Mr. Mallya back in India? Is it a very cumbersome process?
I mean, please, I mean, this is not a forum to debate philosophical questions. Mukesh.
Sir, can I ask two questions? I did not attend last.
Oh, no, this is interesting. Zaka can say he did not attend the last 10, so he has 10 questions then.
Sir, I was given to understand that
Your
Nepalese
questions do not get carried forward.
Okay. Nepalese president is visiting India. Can you give some details about this? And secondly, can you restate your policy about Kohinoor and what steps you are taking to bring it back?
On your first question, India shares unique centuries-old civilizational links with Nepal, as you know. Our age-old ties have been constantly nurtured by frequent exchanges of high-level visits. In this context, we look forward to welcoming the President of Nepal, Srimati Vidya Devi Bhandari, next month in India on her first official visit abroad since taking office. Honorable Rashtrapati Ji has extended an invitation to her for the official visit, during which she will be our honored guest to stay at the Rashtrapati Bhavan while in New Delhi. President Bhandari has also evinced an interest in participating in the Singhast Mahakumbh festival, as you know, which is being held in Ujjain in May 2016, which we will also be very happy to arrange. On Kohinoor, you have already would have seen the press release that we issued, the PIB put out the press release. Basically, the government of India remains committed to bringing back in an amicable fashion this valuable artifact which has strong roots in our history, and the government of India will take all steps which are necessary to bring back the Kohinoor in an amicable manner.
So after the Pakistan JIT returned back to their country, have you heard anything from them on what the next step will be, when they will share some information with us? And
No.
what is the status of the dialogue process right now with Pakistan?
Well, as far as the dialogue process is concerned, as you know, multiple conversations have been held between India and Pakistan at multiple levels, including at the level of the two prime ministers who spoke to each other quite recently. Obviously, after the Pathankot terror attack, the focus of the conversations was on the investigation of that particular attack. However, other aspects of the relationship have also been discussed. I have made statements, and so has my Pakistani counterpart. So this should give you clarity that the dialogue process has not been suspended. The rest, of course, is a matter of detail. As and when I have something definite to tell you, I will. Well, dialogue has never been suspended.
सर पाकिस्तान के जो राजदूत हैं यहाँ पर कभी भी किसी भी तरह का बयान देते हैं, जबकि हमारे जो वहाँ राजदूत हैं वो लगभग चुप रहते हैं या बोलते नहीं है, तो क्या उन्हें अभिव्यक्ति की इतनी आज़ादी है कि कुछ
नहीं,
भी
इस विषय पर मुझे भी चुप रहना चाहिए. देखिए, चाइना को हमने अपनी प्रतिक्रिया बहुत स्पष्ट शब्दों में बता दी है. जिन तीनों चैनल्स की आपने बात की, तीनों लेवल्स पे हमने चाइना को अपनी प्रतिक्रिया बता दी है, और ये भी हमने उन्हें कहा है कि टेररिज्म एक ऐसा मुद्दा है जिस पे डबल स्टैंडर्ड्स या सेलेक्टिव अप्रोच नहीं रखनी चाहिए. अब देखते हैं इसके आगे क्या होता है. कालोल.
Sir, you were on record saying that India has been home to persecuted people for centuries, and in view of this meeting of dissidents from China. And
as I said, I cannot comment. I am still ascertaining the facts on that.
I'm saying, let me just complete it. What is the government of India's position when it comes to all these subnational...
How can I give you my position unless I have ascertained the facts?
The government of India's position.
I cannot give you my position unless I know the facts. So I am still in the process of ascertaining the facts.
Okay.
This is certainly not something that the MEA has organized, as you know. No, I think I'm still waiting for a formal communication in this regard from the Pakistani side. Yeah, on the Gurdwara, okay. We assume this to be an act of terrorism. The SN police held a press conference in which they announced the arrest of one Yusuf T, who is reported to have surrendered after a manhunt was launched. The police claim a confession and suggest that he has possible links with the Islamic State. Investigation is ongoing and more details are awaited. We are closely monitoring the situation. Our ambassador is personally monitoring the situation. Yeah.
Can you kindly clarify on the word deportation of Mr. Malia? What does it mean? He's going to deport it from the other country, or he's not in the
Deportation
country?
is generally from another country.
Another country, is it?
Yeah. Srinjo, haven't you asked your question? Yes, I think you have exhausted. No, no, no. Sorry, this is not. This is a T20. That's okay. Some there at the back.
Sir, this is about Maldives. I wanted to ask you, when the Maldives president had come here, he had expressed appreciation for India's support at CMAG. Now, the latest meeting of the CMAG has come out with a very harsh, basically concerned about Maldives' direction on the democratic process. Can you please throw some light on what was India's position during the CMAG proceedings, and how does it support the statement?
Well, India has always supported stability, development, democracy, and pluralism in the Maldives. This has been a long-standing position and was most recently articulated during President Yamin's official visit to India. India, as you know, is a member of the CMAG, and after its deliberations, a concluding statement has been issued. Obviously, being a member of CMAG, we are party to that statement, and I think that statement speaks for itself. I have nothing further to add. Okay, I think, okay, last question.
सर कर्नल पुरोहित पे क्लीन चिट देने पे पाकिस्तान ने ऑब्जेक्शन दर्ज किया उनका कहना है
किसके क्लीन चिट देने पे
कर्नल पुरोहित के समझौता एक्सप्रेस में
I have not seen this statement.
कल स्टेटमेंट आया
मीडिया में कोई बयान आया होगा. I have not seen any official statement in this regard. Thank you all. That concludes the press briefing.